Hey everyone, happy Thursday. I have a special guest on and I have never had her on my page. So I'm really excited. We've been trying to get each other on a live for quite some time, but the
Yes.
stars aligned. It has, yes. And the stars aligned and I finally got her to pick a day with me and here we are. So everyone, this is Nicole.
Hi,
I met
everybody.
her I met her literally on social media, just like I meet everybody. And funny story, she doesn't live here in San Diego anymore, but she used to. So when we connected, we were like, "Oh, where do you live?" And then I said San Diego, and she's like, "Oh my God, I used to live in San Diego." And then we got to talking about it, and we have mutual friends. So it's funny the
Thrown in
way
the
the
same
world does
area.
that.
Yes, and it's funny because it just links you back to the people you're supposed to be linked to.
Seriously, and I talk about it a lot on my page about energy. It's so true. The energy that you put out there literally comes back to you. So the people that are gravitating towards you are the people that are supposed to be in your circle, and the people that you always have like issues with and like constantly fighting and bickering, they're bouncing off your energy because they shouldn't be
Yes,
around you. So just a
absolutely. And
tidbit of information, lean into that when you have that happening in your life. There's a reason for it.
yes,
But
absolutely.
today, yeah, today we actually wanted to talk about something pretty unique. And I feel like a lot of people are aware of this, but I don't think they maybe put it all together the way that I have recently. And it has to do with the conditioning that happens to us from little kids. I would say kindergarten and elementary school. Every time you drop your kid off at school, they're being conditioned to understand what it's like to work an 8-hour day and have two breaks with a lunch. That's
Yes,
where it begins.
absolutely.
And the segue is that we're all in this environment where we feel like we have to work a job 9 to 5 in order to survive or pay for our bills, live our life. Like we are human beings and we are destined to live human experiences. Working
Yeah,
behind a desk is not giving you a human experience. It's actually draining you and taking more of your life away. And had I not realized this back in COVID when I actually got sent home working remote, is when I
right.
started realizing all of this bigger picture and I started a side job and here I am now working in a property management company and slowly transitioning to not working and living my
Right.
life more freely. I mean, for God's sakes, I'm sitting at home on a Thursday.
Yeah, right. I've even had that just for the what it is to be a stay-at-home mom. It's like so many moms that are trying to do it all because we were programmed to do it all. And you've had the conflict of both you need a man and don't rely on a man. It's like such a massive like we can't seem to win, especially like as women, like what we were trained and told to do
Right.
as very little. Go find you a man. You can't be happy unless you have a man and unless you have kids and unless you do all of these things. And it's put society into this tailspin of like, I mean, the majority of us, like you talked about, energy and healing, be like we're never going to be healed. We just have to keep working for that healing. But there's so many of us because that was such a programming. What is the number one thing you see everybody doing is running out and getting in relationships? It's
Hmm.
such a program. So even the people who shouldn't be in relationships, they have no business being in relationships. They have so much stuff to fix. And they're
Mm.
sitting down. So you have these like levels of income. You've got the high upper class, you've got middle class, lower class, and they don't care. Society doesn't care as long as they have those three classes of struggling people down at the bottom, but they're in a relationship, they're married, they got kids, they can't afford it, anything, but they're sitting down here at the bottom because all they were told is get in a relationship, get married, and have kids.
Oh, man, it's so true. And it speaks volumes because, like, I've been in relationships that I should not have been in. And
Yeah.
it all came down to, yeah, it all came down to me and my healing. It had nothing to do with the other person. I had healing to do. And we're not going to say, like, don't get in a relationship. You can still be in a relationship and still
Yeah.
heal yourself. But
Yes,
it's taking
absolutely.
the step back to realize that you have traumas that you need to crush. And I think
Yeah.
that's another piece that people don't understand. Like, if you're like an angry person, revisit that. Like, why are you so angry? There's something that needs to come out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you're looking at everything that from what you've seen me talk about on my lives in healing and energy, and the things that will say, well, my parents did this, that, and the other, and I'm okay. And it's like, but are you? Are you
Yeah,
okay? Really?
right?
Are we okay? Look at some of the things that we're doing to one another. You can't come on social media and not be judged by somebody or get a negative that you are not doing it exactly the way that the societal norm was told to you as a kid. Like, you're not doing it. You're not doing it. You can't be too thick. You can't be too thin. You can't be too masculine as a girl. You can't be too feminine as a girl. There's like no in between. And even if you try to find it, it's like it comes down to just trying to find that for yourself individually. What is your middle? And not worrying about what society has ingrained in us since childhood.
Yes, girl.
And trying to step away from it. Like, I had thought about it the other day, and I was like, some of us are night owls. Some people just are. The programming of the sleep time frame is not set for everybody. But we think, oh, I have to have this day job, and the only way I'll be successful is if I have this type of day job. But it's like, no, you can go find whatever it is in your career line, the thing you want for you. You can go find this thing and have your schedule be. So if you sleep in earlier in the morning, it's always shame you're lazy. Why aren't you up at the break of dawn? Why aren't you there up at 5 a.m. in the 5 a.m. club? Why aren't you doing that? And it's
we don't want to.
Like, it's so exhausting. Like, I love mornings, and I used to be like the irritating morning person that nobody liked, because I would be all happy and sunshine before I had kids.
Yeah.
And then after, I'm like, I want to sleep in. I'm tired. And trying to go from homeschooling, doing distance learning through the school, we have a different schedule. And the school is so like, you have to do this at this time. And I'm like, no, they're at home with me. We're going to do what we want. And you know what? We're still doing their work. We're still doing everything appropriate, that we need to do. And when we have the opportunity that family comes and visits, we stop everything. We spend time with the family. It's like my kids, and it's not against anybody who has their kids at school. I see where the school can help those who do have, that both parents have jobs, or a single parent has a job. And I totally get it. It's no shame to that. Everything has to be fitting for your life, and how you want to live it, and how you want to. I mean, God forbid something happens to my husband, I would have to change this. It would have to change, so it's all of those things, but I won't stress on it and put that energy out there, and be like, oh my God, what if something happens? If something happens, I will figure it out. But it's like, so just true. The conditioning of what we're supposed to do. So much of that hit me. The society, I went through that phase of like, do I look mom enough? Do I look like a mom? And I couldn't be Nicole. I couldn't be me, because I had to look like a mom, and I was responsible and put together. And I always felt so uncomfortable. Yeah. That I didn't look right. And I wasn't fitting society to look like the mom role. And but I'm still me. Like, I can't lose that person. I'm still me. Right. But the societal norm of like, get a job and find a man and go do this and that and the other. It's stressful. It's heavy. It is. It's exactly. That's pretty much the flip side. I'm going to be 36 this year, never been married, don't have kids. Like, yeah, exactly. But there's so many people out there like, oh, you've never been married. Oh, you don't have kids. And I'm like, why is it? Oh, it's good, girl. Like, I'm proud of you. You should celebrate that. I'm 36. Yeah. I don't have kids, never been married. I've supported myself. I've lived with two boyfriends, but majority of my life I've lived since I was 14 on my own. So everything that I've done is completely me, and it's something to be proud of. Yeah. Yes, and the fact that people and society conditioning people and saying like, oh, well, you should probably look for a man to get married. It's like, fuck no, dude. I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to do it on my schedule, because it doesn't matter
what the universe tells us that we should be doing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm completely content. Completely content.
Yes. And that I have heard that so many times. And I see, I see the hesitation because I'm married and I have kids. I see the hesitation of so many single adults that think I'm going to say something else. And you can feel it in their energy that they're just like, yeah, I haven't. And they're so not confident. I'm like, you own that shit. Own it.
Seriously.
Say it. It's good. Like, I'm not going to be that person who tells you, like, oh, why haven't you, settled down and it's time to settle. No, it's not. No,
It's
it's
so
not.
rude. It's so rude when people say that to
It
me. I'm
is.
like, ew, I'm living.
Why?
I don't know about you, but I'm fucking living.
Yeah. I love, I absolutely love my husband. I love my kids. But it was quite a journey of figuring out what I thought, why would society push this so much unless it was this great, grand life? Why would they push it this damn much that you need to do this thing? But yet it's a struggle. It is hard to stay married. It is hard to be a parent. It is exhausting, physically, mentally exhausting. And so many spouses, parents don't want to say it. I'm like, what? You just need everybody to come suffer with you? Like, like you just gotta be silent about it? I'm not silent about it. I would not trade my kids for anything. Nothing.
Right.
But
right.
I can be honest about the struggle of it. Had I known that my having kids was going to trigger me and all my PTSD, my anxiety, my all of that, for their sake, not because I don't want them, for their sake, I wouldn't have done it to them. For their sake, I would have never made them endure that because
Right.
it spills all over them. And there's so many of us who don't want to say that because we think that means what we're saying is like we regret our kids. No, I don't. I don't regret my kids, but I can be honest and say, hey, some of these young single people are starting to have an awakening of what that spilling over is. And good for them for not wanting to keep on bringing more brokenness into new generations. Like they're trying to heal, they're trying to focus, be positive and work hard on themselves. And it's like, why isn't that a positive thing? Why don't we need the balance of this person being so bold to be able to speak out and say, like, because I don't need that. I don't have to do that. I'm actually happy and content. And people don't know what that looks like because we were raised to be codependent.
Yeah, it's true.
Codependency is huge. People say, like, don't let your kids sleep with you because they're going to be codependent. I'm like, I hate when my husband's gone on nights. I love that he's right there next to me, but that's because he's my husband. But I had 2 years. It was the best time of my life. 2 years I was single. Nobody in my bed, nobody next to me. And you know what? I didn't realize how empowering it was. No one to answer to, no one to argue with, no one to tell me no, or they were uncomfortable. They didn't like this friend I had. No, I got to make my own decisions. My choices, and that's where learning in my marriage, though, now is like, I'm very big on the marriage is not ownership. It's not ownership. I don't own my spouse does not own me. We choose each other. 100%. And so when I see people are like, oh, why is that girl trying to talk to my husband? I'm like, that's my husband's job. That if he is uncomfortable, I feel like a boundary is crossing, that's his job. And I trust him to do that. So it's like, if a female talks to my husband, I'm like, I don't own him. I love and get excited the fact that he comes back to me. He chooses me at the end of it. That's what I'm happy about. I'm like, I know he's going to choose me. I already know. So it's like this society of like, you own each other. You are no longer your own person. And it's like, no, you very much are your own person. You choose one another.
And that's another effed up part of society because people are like, oh, but that's your husband and da da da. Okay, we are married. We are in a marriage. Doesn't mean that I'm controlling that person. They can still do what they want. It's their life. And that's something that comes up a lot because I have friends that are married and it's always like everybody has their own piece in their marriage, but I feel like some of my friends are like, oh, well, I have to ask my husband. You have to ask your husband. If I was married, I'd be like, oh, by the way, Tuesday night, I'm not going to be here. I'm going to dinner with the girls.
And I mean, the only thing I can say that is different is like coordinating because you have kids. So there's that
Right.
coordination part that does come in,
Right.
and it's like, hey babe, are you going to be here? Are you going to feel okay? Like I think I check with my husband, because a lot of men, I think there's a certain societal norm too for women. She needs to go get her me time, her hair done, her nails done, her eyelashes done, whatever. We have all these outlets. So I always check my husband, like, before I go out and hang with a friend, have you had time?
Yes, that's beautiful. I love that.
Have you had time? Because he won't. He's like, he goes to work, he works hard, and for me, I'm ready to leave out the door, and he's like, but this is my safe place, and he wants to come home. So where I do check with my husband is because his mental health is a top thing to me too. Have you
Yeah.
spent any time with your buddies? Have you like gotten to go talk to anybody? Like, I like the idea of normalizing that men need that time too. They need to
Right.
remember who they are
Exactly.
outside of the societal, that they're the support, they're the provider, they're just the rock, and they can't say shit. No, it's not okay. They
Right.
have feelings, they have a heart, they have a mind. You see some of these like brotherhoods where it's like you see these men who hug each other, embrace each other, or like they'll touch their foreheads to each other. And I'm like, gosh, that's so beautiful, because they know they're
Right.
still men. They're still men, but our society has like just put that down. Like, you don't even let a boy touch you for 2 seconds too long, because otherwise it means something else. And it's like,
Right.
no, we have emotions, and these men have been blocked off. Look at us girls. We'll sit there and hold each other's hands, hug each other, embrace each other, cry with each other, and we get all these outlets. So where I come back to checking with him is like, do you need that time?
Yeah, that's
I want to
beautiful. I
check.
love that.
I want to check with him and make sure he's had his time too, because I know I've got outlets. I know that I do.
Right.
And he'll never tell me no. This man will be like, he ran into one of my friends at the store and was like, I think my wife needs to like sit in the jacuzzi with somebody and talk. I'll bring you girls drinks. And he'll literally like serve us all night long. And he's
Oh, that's
check,
so
and he's like, do you
sweet.
girls need anything? Do you girls want anything? And I'm like, no, babe, we're good, thank you. And he's like, I
Oh,
just don't want you to get out if you don't need to. And it's like, why can't I give that back? Why can't I
right.
make sure he has that back? Like, gotta make sure that both people have that. I know
Right.
I have it, and society has made men think that they're not supposed to. And I
Mm,
can even confess that some girls don't believe they're supposed to, because it's harder for them. It's harder as a
wow.
female. And it's like, no, we have two, being a male or a female, we do have our version of hard. Every single person, human being, has their version of hard,
Right.
things they're not thinking about.
Right.
And society has just trained in the toxic positivity,
Mm-hmm.
the you're going to be okay, you're the strongest person I know. Well, today I'm not. Today I am
Right.
not.
Today, I just want to tell you what's wrong and just let it
Yeah,
out.
yes. And it's like, just everything we've ever been told, that marriage is 50-50. No, it's not. It's 80-20. There's days I'm 20, he's 80. There's days he's 20, I'm 80. And we
Right.
got to pick each other up in that. And that's the same for a friendship too. You're going to have your
Mm,
best friend, because we all have some form of relationship,
right.
you know, our best friends, our best buddies, the people that are closest to us, that do, when we're down and out, we turn to those people. And it's like,
Exactly.
hey, today I might be acting like a shit, but you got me, like that's what we rely on each other to do. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. And so
Exactly.
just changing these ideas that we always have to be in the perfect mood, we always have to be okay, we always have to be just carrying all the weight, and acting like nothing's wrong.
Right.
And guess what? That's not the truth.
No, it's so crazy. I mean, like, there's so many pieces to this. It's like the energy and being able to connect with yourself and others and being able to be aware of things and not like if you're having a rough day, fucking say it. You're having a rough day and this happened and that happened and talk about it. It doesn't mean like it's okay. You're gonna be good. Step it up a notch. You got this. No, dude. Like if you're having a bad day, say it. Don't hold it in. Because once you hold things in, that shit brews, and eventually you fucking snap. Been there, done
Yep.
that. And I
Yeah.
just learned like if I'm having a bad day, I just take it in as a bad day, check it off the list. Everything that was on the list that I'm not doing is going to be pushed to another day because sometimes we
Yes.
have those days. You're never going to be perfect. But then it also
Yeah.
is the other side. It's like society makes you feel like you have to do certain things in order to be successful in life, or you have to have a 9 to 5 job
Failing.
to buy a house, to have kids, to get married. When that's not the fucking case. I live in a fucking apartment by the beach. I'm living my best fucking life, happy as can
Damn
be. I
right
spend
you
all
are.
my money going on trips. I buy the things that I want. I'm literally doing what's best for myself. So
Right.
whenever like family members or whoever is like, "Oh, aren't you going to get married and buy a house?" I'm like, "No, dude. Does it look
No,
like I First of all,
no.
does it look like I want to get married and have kids and buy No. I'm roller skating at the beach, paddleboarding with my
Yeah.
dogs. The dogs are the kids. By the
Yes.
way, this is Moonstone's parents' mom. So had to put that in there. I should bring him. You should see him. Hold on. Come here.
Bring him in.
Come here. Come here. Come here, you big boy. You're gonna trip out.
He's so big and so handsome. Oh my
No.
gosh. Look at
You say
him.
hi.
I knew he was the perfect pick for you. I just knew it. I could
He's
feel
such
your energy and his, and to be so far away, I was like, no, that's him.
He's such a good dog, seriously. He's the
So
best fucking
gorgeous.
dog. Don't tell Jade. Don't tell Jade. Whatever you do, say
He's
hi.
smart and pretty. Oh,
He's so heavy. I swear he's probably like almost, he licked my face. I think he's almost 50 pounds right now. He's so
oh,
big.
holy smokes.
I was
Jeez.
like, he might be a little bigger than 60.
So I send you the test results for those puppies?
Yeah, you did.
Right? Such an odd mix, but they turned out beautiful.
Such an odd mix. And seriously, guys, when we talk about energy, literally, her and I have never met in person. We've just connected over social media, sending voice notes to each other. This is our first like actual live. I think we did a video
Yes.
chat when I got the puppy because I got to see all the
Yeah.
puppies, and she showed me this one and I was like, "Oh, I love his little swirl." And now
Yeah.
it's a straight line. Isn't that cute?
His little S, that's why we called him
Yeah.
Swoop.
Yeah, and now it's straight. It's like he's like seriously the perfect dog. Everything about
He's
him is perfect.
That's why Tom had fallen in love with him, and I could see the struggle of letting him go because we already had so many, and he was just like loved him, and I was like, I know that he's going to the best house and following, and that's just like what you said. Look at the life you're living. I love following you and seeing the energy of like the water and the plants and you just being outside, you're taking care of your babies, and like you're just going and living your life, but you're actually being in
Right.
every moment. You're
Yep.
living in every moment, and there's so many people that don't even have those real moments. Facebook is often such a facade
Yes,
that
it's
so
fake.
many are hiding behind. But
Yeah,
when you can't fake energy. You
right.
can't. It's
No,
not possible. And so it's like when you see that energy and everything that you are drawn to, and that's what you're posting, it's like that's her real energy. That's legit. Like it's as real as it comes, and it's like she's embracing life, she's living her life. And there's so many of us who are not present in moments. And you're doing it. So for anybody, that pressure of like family members or friends and just why aren't you, no, 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 no. I'm here to tell everybody, nobody has to, the other people, the naysayers don't have to change their view. That's their view. That's
right.
fine. I'm okay with
Yeah.
that. But you know what? It's meant to encourage the people who are struggling with it, speaking up and
Mm,
saying, I'm single, I have no kids. And it's
yeah.
like, awesome. Like
Yeah.
yes, it'd be nice if you guys like there's people who have that more support, but it'd be nice that more people were understanding what it is that you're doing.
Right.
If not though, I think the more time goes that awakening of people are like, no, I'm single and I don't have kids and I'm good with that awakening is going to continue to spread for people, and it's just
Yeah.
going to make the next person more confident that it is okay. Or the people who are together and they never get married and they never have kids, but they're like more committed than anybody I've ever seen.
Right.
Like they don't have any of these stressful issues and they're just happy. They're
Right.
genuinely happy, and it's like they're just sitting there together with everybody saying, when are you guys going to pop out kids?
Ugh, I
And
hate when
it's
people say that.
they don't need to. They don't need to
No,
have kids, you know? They don't want to. And I don't see why that's not okay that they
right,
don't choose to do that. And the few people that I've talked to, it's like that have been in relationships and don't have kids, and they're like, I just feel like I've got so many things in my life, my past, my trauma, that I don't want it to spill over. And I know it's going to be continuous work for myself, but I just don't want to bring another child into that.
right. And so many people just don't
No,
realize that
go
they
ahead and
have
just bring them
traumas
into
to
the
stop.
trauma. Why not? Screw those
So
damn kids. They'll be fine. I was fine. You'll be
they'll be
fine.
fine. Yeah, I hate when people say that. I was fine. Like when I talk to people about like certain like beliefs that I have around like health and fitness, I hear a
Mhm.
lot of people saying, "Well, my parents did it this way and they're fine. Look at them." And I'm like, so many things to say.
Right. But and then you come to that point where like, man, it's just better that I don't. It's
That's why I
just
made
better.
that face, because it's just like those are my opinions and obviously you have your opinions and I'm just going to let you roll with your opinions. I obviously post everything on my page about my opinions. I voice them on my lives. I talk about everything very openly, and
Openly.
it boils down to like, if you don't believe it and you don't want to be a part of it, then bye. Like, this is my page. I get to do what I want here, and I don't need to feel pressured to work a 9 to 5 job. Or
No.
I had an argument with someone the other day about working a 9 to 5 job and that I'm crazy for not wanting to stay in the 9 to 5 because of retirement and all this blah blah blah. And I'm like, welcome to 2023, bro. There are so many money avenues that you can create and
Yeah.
make in order to live a more free lifestyle once you have the money flowing in, which is my goals. My goals
Yes.
are to completely step away and make, I think it
Yeah.
starts at 5K a month without doing anything in the business. You already get
Yeah.
that guaranteed and you can pass that to your children. So that's what I'm working towards. You might
Yeah.
work your 9 to 5 job and work towards retirement. That's for you. That's not for me. That's not for
Yes.
me. I'm not,
And
you're working
and
your ass off.
genuinely, some of us grew up in such the conditioning again of society that some of us don't know how to be our own boss.
Right.
And it
Or they
is the
can't see
hardest
that. They
thing.
can't envision that either. They're so stuck
No.
in an employee mindset that they
Yeah.
can't envision being their own boss and fully telling themselves what to do, instead of having a boss literally dictate your every single day and tell you when to shit and when not to shit, when to
Yeah.
vacation and when not to
Yeah.
vacation.
You
Oh,
that right.
sorry, you don't have enough PTO. You can't go on vacation. Huh?
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
to live my life, because when I'm 60 something, I'm going to be what, like barely walking down hopefully not, but barely walking to go
Right.
do the things I want to enjoy doing. No, I'm going to do that right now. Right now.
Yeah. And after taking care of my grandfather, you know, that really was an eye opener for so many
Right.
things. So
Yeah.
many. And it's like I've talked to my husband about throwing around ideas for something that's ours. I was like, I want to like do something with you that's ours. And like you said, there's so many different directions. Find the
So
one that works for you. But I believe that when people are talking to you and saying like, why aren't you doing the 9 to 5? They're projecting because they're
yes.
upset that they don't know how to.
Yeah.
Whatever that conditioning was for them, they didn't break free. And there
Right.
is a projection on you because you're doing it, and they feel like they can't. They feel
Right.
that,
Yeah.
but they have no idea because society did not breathe in that they could, because they didn't want that. They didn't want them to be entrepreneurs and figure out their own thing. Like I
Right.
said, we need the three, the high, the middle, the low. We need that.
Right.
So it's
Right.
no, we just figure out where you fall into on your own. Nobody wants to
Mm.
encourage the opposite. And so it's like, no, this person who's leading and being a leader and talking about their life outside of the career business thing.
Right.
It's like they're trying to empower you to see what you've got in there. Give it a try. If it doesn't work, okay, it didn't work, but it's probably you who didn't work, not
Right.
not the other thing. And maybe it just didn't go with you. It didn't fit your energy. That's fine. That's like,
Exactly.
for what I do of my zone is advocating for mental health. It just
Yes.
was the thing that I went to after having my first child and getting postpartum depression, and having borderline psychosis and realizing nobody was talking about this stuff. Like, how did I
Mm.
never hear that mothers suffered with this? And I used to be that person who would see a video and be like, how could that mom hurt that child? How could that mom, do that? And then it was like, once I experienced psychosis for myself, it was like, all of a sudden, everything was like heartfelt, so deep, like, no, it's not right. But at the same time, holy crap, like, you don't know what moms go through, and they go through silent.
Right.
Like, you could see this mom I've wanted kids since I was little. I knew I
Mm.
wanted kids,
Right.
but I never knew. And so when I started advocating and speaking out and hearing all these moms, I'm like, why did you never say anything? Why did you just sit in the dark? And it was because of the societal norm that you're supposed to look like the good mom. You've got it all together. You can cook, you can clean, you can take care of baby, and you can
Mm.
go on no sleep. Screw the hormones and the chemical imbalance. You're supposed to have it all under wrap. And it's like, no, if you manage that you and baby got through the day safe, that's the most important thing. Your kitchen doesn't have to be perfect. Your house doesn't
No.
have to be perfect,
Mm.
but when I started advocating for that, that was the very beginning of advocating for mental health. And I'm still trying to figure out my next step, my place that I feel like I'm supposed to be, and not having anybody else dictate that of what I
Right.
should do. Now I feel that there's certain encouragement from my closest friends, like, hey, you should start a podcast. Hey, you should start doing this and that and the other. And I think you like my lives. I had no intention. That was like my live journal for me. I would go back and rewatch myself and like figure out what was going on in my mind, but it's now I'm realizing, talking with other people, when we're both focused on healing, one person will say something and you just ignite the next person. And it's like you all of a sudden go, oh, light bulb, holy smokes, how did I not see that? And then
Right.
we're better together. Even our different backgrounds, our different walks of life, our different chosen paths. It's amazing how somebody of the opposite can bring more clarity, more healing, more vision. And that's exactly everything that you're doing with your business. I mean,
Right.
we all know, Moon was a Kangen water baby. And, I have the machine, and
Yep.
I got my grandfather completely off of all of his meds, because I'm as much as possible anti-pharmaceutical. Like, and they could not believe I got him cleared out and using that water. He was on acid reflux pills, which you're not supposed to be on long term. People
Mm.
don't even know the side effects of acid reflux meds. It is horrible for your body. And they just had him on it. And then he started drinking that water, and I was able to get him off of that. He had pain in his chest every day, just boiling, burning. And, I had so many people who like, why would you go spend that much on a water machine? Water's water. I'm like, give me the water you're drinking. I've done so many pH tests for my friends, and I was like, that's all acid. So while you
Yep.
think water's water, FYI, it's not.
Yep. Especially, so I don't know if you know, but Kangen has which Enagic is the company for Kangen. They have their 50-year anniversary coming up in Vegas, and I'm going.
Oh,
And
nice.
Multi-Pure, which is my pre-filter that matches with my Kangen machine, they're having I think it's 40-year celebration, and I'm going to be out there for theirs as well. So I'm going to talk to them about the filtration and everything, because the new thing in San
Oh,
Diego, they're destroying our streets right now because they're putting big they're turning this is disgusting, but this is what they're doing. They're turning the gray water, your toilet water, they're turning it into a drinkable water, and they're going to be flushing this into everybody's homes. So I want to go to make sure that Multi-Pure is coming up with more tests to prove that their filters are still the best, regardless of this BS that they're doing. So
right.
but that's the thing, is you have to be on top of it, because so many people drink this plastic bottled water and they think it's just water, right? It's not, dude. Most of it is other people's tap water, and it's not
Yeah.
filtered. So you're probably
No.
drinking fucking toilet water right now.
Hey, one thing I've told people to look up. I really got caught up on that show with Zac Efron, down
Yes.
down to earth. Down to Earth, is that what it's called?
I think it is.
Down to Earth. And they did that whole section, and like you could see their minds like blown on water. And it's like, oh,
Disgusting.
water's not all the same. And he said anything that says purified is shit.
Yeah.
Like, don't drink it. It's crap, garbage. Don't drink it. It's bad for you. And that is like, with mine. So with doing my pink pill, that is what helped me with my depression, my anxiety, my PTSD. I
Right.
know that a good portion of that too is also like how my body absorbed that
Right.
supplement. And that was
Exactly.
also changing the water that I was drinking. If we're over a little bit over 70% water, I really think that it matters what water's in our body, what
Yes.
energy is going and channeling. And so it's like, you wouldn't think that water is that healing, but it really is. It
It is.
truly is. Your mental state, your complete physical health. And so, when I started pairing the two of my supplements and that water, it was like
Right.
just
I've done
complete
a
life.
test actually because I was curious. I'm a visual person. I want to see it. So I took a tea bag and I soaked tea bags, one in tap water, or not even tap water. I think I used Essentia because a lot of people drink Essentia. So I put one in Essentia and one in Kangen water, and then I squeezed them out after they had been sitting there for a couple of minutes. I squeezed them out into blank cups, empty cups, and you could see that the Kangen water was darker than the regular water, and that's showing you that the Kangen water is more absorbed into your body
Yeah.
than regular fucking water. And it was such a cool little test that I did. I need to repost it because it was pretty eye-opening.
I had done the side by side too for myself to see when I got the machine to see
Yeah.
if like what was the difference in taste, in look. And I swear my tea bag looked like cloudy pee. Like, and in the regular sink water, it just looked like cloudy urine. And I was like, that looks disgusting. And then this other one was like vibrant in the color, and it was not foggy. There was no fog in it. It was just clear. And so a lot of my customers, because I do the farmers market, and so
Yeah.
I expressed to them about water and the importance that, like, I want them to know that, hey, whatever you are drinking, you need to take a look at this, because I've explained to them how the molecular structure of the water is smaller.
Right.
And when you can't absorb, large molecules in the body, especially have inflammation in the gut, it's going to pass right through your system. And that's why you get that big slushy feel and you can hear the water. And I was like, I have had none of that heavy, no slushy feeling since I've been drinking this water. I would hear it just sitting up in the top of my stomach. And I was like, if you're hearing water, more than likely your body's going to reject it, that water, because it can't penetrate and it's going to pass through the body. And then you sit there and go, why am I still like dehydrated and thirsty? I just drank all this water. Because you drink crap water, your body does not want it. Is kicking it out. So
And why
it
people
really
pee so
does
much?
matter. Yeah. And then you know what? I have not had any of that issue. When I drink this water, I'm hydrated.
Yep.
I don't have to go find the next thing to be hydrated because I'm fully hydrated. So when I take my supplements, I do that every morning. I'll drink this big glass of water first thing in the morning, take my pink pill, and take deep breaths. It's kind of my little routine of just deep breathing, and because you need oxygen and water.
Yeah, and they say that the first thing that you put into your body when you wake up is the most important because it's going straight to your brain cells. So if you're not drinking water before you drink a glass of coffee.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I've tried with so many people, and I know all of a sudden the the coffee like fanatics come out. I'm like, I didn't say you can't have coffee. That's not what I said. I just said don't let it be the first thing that hits your system.
No.
You've just woken up. What is breakfast? Breaking your fast. You have not eaten. You have nothing in your stomach. If you really want to get it going and have it fully supported for whatever you're going to do throughout the day, you need good water. And yes, it does has an effect on your stress levels.
It has
really
an effect on so many things. Your fucking organs, your skin, how everything functions, just the look and the feel. Like there's so many benefits of it. Like so many people, it's just water. And I'm like, it's not just water. You're drinking, it's just water. Like,
yeah. Until I take bottles from people and I'll do the little vial thing and I'll put a couple drops and I show them the chart. I'm like, here's the chart. Here it is right in front of you. And they're like, you can see the look of despair on their face. Like, I'm like, and it's always great value. It's always the one I see people drinking the most. They're passing that out at every event. If you're out in public, great value. And I'm like, that stuff is such garbage. It's horrible water.
Or
Like,
even the people that think that they're doing good for their body and they buy the pH water it's got pH on it. I'm like, turn it around and read the ingredients. Why does just water have ingredients? It's not just water, bro. Throw it away. Don't drink it. Please save your body.
Yeah, no, I've definitely noticed a big difference for us. It was worth us getting that machine 100%. And I love that you share it. I love that you share it the way you do, because nobody really, again, societal norm, it's like, just drink water. But nothing was really talked about to like our
quality.
our main quality of life comes from the water we drink.
Right. So true. I love the way you say that.
That we have because we were not drinking the right water. If you just have acid for water, it's just purely acidic. You're wondering, what is stomach always? Oh, yeah. Like
people that drink like Coca-Cola and Pepsi. I saw the other day this guy, he had a big gulp. It was huge. Could barely walk in and out of the 7-Eleven and had this huge big gulp. And I'm just like, someone needs to teach this guy, like, you're drinking acid, which is the same acid as your stomach, and you're just drinking that.
Yeah, would you drink your own stomach acid?
Yeah, you're basically just putting it in a cup and drinking it, buddy.
In a full label. And so like every now and then, only about once a month, I crave a Coca-Cola, and I only want the glass bottle.
Don't get me wrong, I've had one here and there, but every day and that size.
No, I like my husband, we battle over that, because he'll up like, why do you have a soda again? And he's like, because I'm thirsty. I'm like, that's not thirst. It's not thirst.
You want sugar.
You're like, you need to drink water, you know, but
well, your body's craving something else. That's what it is.
Yes. Yeah. And I've noticed that big difference of just, you know, right now we've got a really pretty detox water that I just made this morning with cilantro, cucumber, celery.
Send me the recipe.
It's so good, because a lot of people don't know how good cilantro is for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's super detoxing of the body. And so I'm going to post it on Facebook later on. But I used to do that all the time. And I love those glass ones because it just looks pretty. You're just sitting there pouring your water, just watching all the fruit and vegetables fly around. But no, cilantro is really good for you. And so having a type of water that can even penetrate that, though, that can even penetrate the leaves to actually bring out the elements of your fruits and vegetables. And so that's like a really big thing. Is like, I know what I'm drinking, and I know that it's actually beneficial for me, and I'm getting actually good detox water that's flushing my kidneys, my liver, my intestines. You look at, like, there's none of us who don't have parasites in our body. So it's like, you need those other elements. But if it's just sitting there and it's not really breaking through, if that water's not really pulling and extracting those benefits out, I mean, it's just floating vegetables and fruit, you know. But my girls love it. They love it. They love the way it tastes.
Barking at the male guy. At least he barks like twice and then he's done. Jade would be like,
does he have low bark?
Huh?
Does he have the little, like, he just kind of like chirp barks, but it's low, deep? Like,
yeah,
it's just
like,
yeah.
Yeah. It's so cute.
Got that from Ara, because the other one that got stuck with us, Craft, she is vocal and doesn't stop. And I think she got that from the German side, because she just like goes out at it and won't stop barking. But Big is like, he's real quiet, and he might oof, oof, and that's like it.
See, Moon, when he was little, he would like he would talk when he was little. Like when I got him from your parents, he was like, your stepdad, right? Your stepdad?
Yeah, my mom's husband.
Yeah. He was like, now Moon likes to talk. He's a talker. And I was like, okay, good. I'm excited. When I brought him home, he talked a little bit, but then he kind of stopped. And now he just does the woof, woof, and then like a couple big barks, and then he's good. He's just such a good dog.
Oh, I knew it from when he was a baby, just how he was following and his attention to watching, and I
Still
was like, you
follows.
gotta catch it real quick.
Oh God. So like I'm a very clean person and everything usually stays in its place at my place. There was a coffee mug that I left on my dining room table and he went straight to it in the morning and just stared at it like, what is this? Why is it doing that? I'm like, how did you know?
He's like, this isn't supposed to be here, Mom. You did not pick up.
Anytime somebody leaves something that's usually not in that place, like he's a visual scanner. He knows where things are. Even like outside my apartments, like if we'll walk down by the mailbox and someone put a box there, he's like, let me go investigate. What is this? Why is it here?
They're super, like I said, the mix is so amazing because it was Pit Bull, Great Dane, and German Shepherd and Collie were like some of the most significant out of that mix.
Right.
And it was like their attentiveness, like attention to detail is like, are you a
Insane.
dog or what are you?
Yeah, literally. And okay, so I took him, I don't know if you saw the video, but I took him on the paddleboard for the first time. And before I put him on the paddleboard, I put Jade on the paddleboard in front of him to be like, look, this is what we're gonna do. So I took Jade off of it. He jumped right up and was like, all right, let's go. I'm like,
Yeah, he follows lead. Just amazing.
such a good dog. I'm like, what's next? What else can we do?
Yeah. And that's again a Kagan water baby.
It is
Good water.
honestly like literally whenever I go to the dog park and stuff, he like sniffs the water bowl and I'm like, yeah, you're not gonna drink that, right? No, you don't like that water.
Like, that's not good water. That's not real. It's fake.
Yeah, he turns his nose. He's like, oh, it's not water, Mom.
Water snob is totally acceptable. 100% acceptable.
Absolutely. I'm stoked that he is like that. Jade's just old and water is water to her, but she does like stand by her water bowl if it's not clean. Like if she gets a piece of kernel in her water bowl, she stands there and looks at me like, excuse me, fresh water, please.
Can we fix this?
Yeah, there's something in there. And then Moon tries to like get it out, like he's like trying to like chase it. It's the cutest thing.
I love following all of your stories and everything. I think it's like you can feel that energy, you can feel your peace. And that's why I said these societal norms, like I think it's just the more that we kind of speak out of what we're choosing to do with our lives and just saying like, hey, it is okay to not, I'm not teaching my girls at all like, oh, you got to go find a husband. You got to like, I don't want them worrying about that. I want my girls to know who they are. I want them to be, independent and know that they can do these things without anybody else. They can like 100% go get, my girls can be firecrackers with their attitude. They're 8 and 6, but it's like there's certain part where I'm like, I don't want to take that away from them. Some parts of where through childhood trauma was trying to take that away, but I have a voice and it's powerful. And so it's like, I am not going to do that to my kids. Like they need their voice. They need a little bit of that spunk, to like just be able to face this world and know if they want something, they never give up. They're very, they want something and they're like, mom, mom, mom. And I'm like, man, you just don't give up, but that's a good thing. Sometimes it's irritating, but at the same time, I'm like, that's a good thing. And it's a quality you're going to need when you're older.
Right.
Don't give up. Don't give in. It's like, you want it and you're going for it and nobody's telling you no. So it's like creating that path for them and like trying to figure out that healthy balance. Last night I was sitting there thinking, I was having just one of those days, that I get upset at them and then I'm just like, I'm always picking up everything and I'm always doing this. And then it was like, I saw my girls last night and it was kind of an emotional moment for me watching them after 5 seconds of me, just after 5 seconds of me getting mad. I was mad. I yelled. I mommy yelled for like 5 seconds and like had my little fit. But yet they felt safe enough in my home to come back out to living room and start goofing around again. And it was like, I didn't have that kind of safety when I was a kid.
Right.
When you got in trouble, you were in trouble. You feared. And to know and see my girls be comfortable enough that they could come back out and be kids.
Yes. Oh, that's so beautiful.
It was such an emotional moment for me to watch that. Like, I know I just lost my shit. yet they knew they could still be kids.
Right.
There was so much of my childhood that was robbed from that.
Right.
And it's like to be able to look at mine and go, I can see that even though I felt guilty that I yelled and lost my mind for 5 seconds, it was like I still haven't robbed them of that.
Right.
I
That's
still
beautiful.
haven't taken that away from them, that they are just two happy, funny little girls just playing and having fun and
Oh,
being exactly what they are, children. You
yeah.
know, we heard growing up like grow up all the time, grow up. And then it's like,
Yes.
why are we forcing these kids to grow up? Like
Right.
they
Yeah.
don't rob of the child spirit. You know, we need to have more of that even as adults. We can learn from kids to keep that childlike spirit and to embrace moments. And like one of the things that I had posted was when a child picks you a flower and how
Oh,
special it is that this child has really nothing else to offer. But in that moment, they thought of you. They saw this beautiful thing. They feel the
so
energy. They always picking rocks and picking flowers. You know why? Because there's a frequency. And what they actually picked for you was the frequency they found in that flower or that rock. They just gave you something nobody else can give you.
right.
And
It's
that's
like the
what they're handing you.
penguin.
Yes, they're handing you frequency and energy and love. That's what they're handing you. And it's like now all of a sudden I look at it so different when the girls are pulling out a whole weed in there, but to them that weed is just gorgeous.
Yeah.
They're like ripping up the weeds out here that are like this tall and just bringing me the whole thing rooting off. But it had little yellow flowers and it's
Oh,
beautiful, you know. So it's like you just see this. We could really tap into kids more, the kids that do exist in our world, the kids who do that we come across. It's like I tell people, like even if it's not your kid, you just pass a kid, smile at them, you know, and just they'll remember you. They'll
yeah.
remember you. You know,
So true.
I had one little girl that I had just met, and she said so, she complimented me, and I said,
Oh,
girl, don't ever lose that empowerment of you empowering yourself and other women. Don't ever lose that. And I just smiled so big at her. And it was like that right there, because so many of us women, we grew up also in that gossipy, catty, just, you know, this, all the societal norms. And it's like, if you weren't with it, you're tearing the next one down. There's
right.
something wrong with it. There's something that's just not to your standard. Um, you know, and it's like, no, we need to encourage our kids to empower themselves in the next person.
Yes.
And
That's so
that's all
beautiful.
they should be speaking, you know, they shouldn't
Right.
be speaking else, but they listen to us. They listen to how we talk about other people. And
Yep.
you wonder how some of this bullying comes in. It all starts at home. That's learned
Right.
behavior.
Yes.
100% learned behavior. And if you're not
Yes.
seeing a kid genuinely trying to jump up and help the next person or be kind or give an encouraging word or compliment, um, that there it is. Like that's what a child should be speaking. Children are so beautiful and innocent. That's the only
Right.
thing they should be speaking.
Right.
And it's sad when I know that what I grew up in, and then I just see the difference of how my girls are, because it's like the only time I can reflect and go, okay, I know I'm doing something right. I know that I'm doing something right by what they just showed to the next
Right.
person.
Oh,
You know,
so
but
beautiful.
it's so these norms and these ideas, and I hear the girls be kids, you know, they might question, why does that person have that mark on their face, or why does that person look like this or have that hair, because they're curious. That's an innocent curiosity. Why don't they have an arm or a leg? It's an innocent curiosity. There's a
Right.
difference of just thinking that somebody's just ugly because of something, you know, like that's not what we're supposed to teach. People are
Right.
different. We're all different, and you don't know somebody's story, you don't know their background, and trying to get them to take their innocence of just curiosity and question and
Which
just
is
kind of like,
exactly why both of us live this life and we are a voice for other people and other women. And that's the best thing about social media is that we can come on social media and talk about these things and open other people's eyes to different subjects or way of like learning and thinking of things, because this is things you're not going to learn in school where you're indoctrinated. This is things that you're going to learn from other people. And how do you get to know other people on the same wavelength? On social media. So
yes,
the fact that you started your group with mental health, and I love following all your posts. Everything is so cute that you post in there. But it's like that goes to show like we're here to show people that other part of life where you don't get taught it in school. The things that are important, you really don't get taught in school because it's just an indoctrination camp from my
Yes,
perspective.
and you know what? And it's like if I can remember going back through school, it's so funny. They're supposed to be so big on this anti-bullying policy, but it's not. It's
Right.
not because half the teachers do it. Half the teachers have the comment about the kid who's got ADHD and he's a disruption. And
Right.
listen to the negativity that they speak over these beautiful children. I have ADHD. My daughter has ADHD. My nephew, it runs in my family. And so it's like, you are not just the disruption. You are not just the chaos. Kids with ADHD are so incredibly smart. Their brains are hella fast.
Right.
And so they're just looking to absorb, but at a high speed. And it's like, but even your principals and your teachers are talking about these children, and you'll hear conversations amongst teachers of what kid is driving them crazy
Oh,
and pissing them off. And I'm like, you're literally talking shit about a child. Like, that's what you're doing collectively here. That's the energy that we have. That's not how you're supposed to talk about these kids. You
right.
know, it's supposed to be taken serious. You are an energy, and yes, they're kids. Yes, it's overwhelming. Yes, it's a lot of energy, and yes, some days kids do piss you off. But just remember the generalization that that's not for a particular reason. ADHD, autism, anything like that. They're kids. It's frustrating sometimes simply because they're a child. But
Right.
remember, that's the innocence of them being
Mm.
a child. I've been learning so much from just being around my kids and other kids and their backgrounds and just realizing, holy crap, they're just kids. Like they're still learning, we're all still learning. And so it's like their kids just speak volumes for what we can really change in societal norm of how they see each other, and unless you're taught in a negative way how to see each other,
Right. Mm.
you
And
know.
that's like the piece where I talk to women all the time who are mothers, and a lot of people come to me because they're struggling and they want to live a more happy lifestyle or more positive, and they always ask me questions and I give them the advice, and who knows like how they were raised or how they're raising their kids, but if I can be a voice of reason and a voice of like how I go about my day and this is what I do and hey, check out this makes you do this and that, like that's the energy I want to be in, and I want it to reflect on my audience as well because I want my audience to be attracted to what I have to say, and then all
Yeah,
the friends and everything else. So it's like it's all an energy field, and what you surround yourself with really is a reflection on what's inside.
absolutely. And you know what? Here's another thing too. Before I even had kids, I've had that natural just mommy instinct. I have friends who are like, "You're the mom friend, like the friend who moms her friends," and I would look out for them, and I'd be like, "You shouldn't do that. That's bad." And so I always had this natural instinct of just a mother spirit. And so my thing was is that I was disqualified by so many people because I wasn't officially a mother yet. So we can't relate. We can't, because you're not a mother yet or you've never had kids, that this messed up idea that you can't get positive feedback, you can't get anything from somebody because they haven't had a child. That's another big problem with society. It's
Yeah.
huge that you cannot see a person as a person and what they have to offer because they don't have a child yet
Yeah. So
or
true.
aren't going to have children. Or
Right.
you must not have a mother instinct because you don't have children and you don't want
Mm.
children. No, maybe I have all the mother instinct in the world because I don't want to do that to a child.
Right.
How about that? So it's
Right.
like I see that it's all the time where I see these conversations between people, and I was treated the same way before